Thank you so much for inviting me. I am so humbled to be here for a variety of reasons. I bring greetings to you from Secretary DeVos and Assistant Secretary Frank Brogan from Washington, D.C. Today, as mentioned earlier, I am joined by my colleague, Dr. David Cantrell, who has also been here to the island before, and my daughter, Caitlin Ramirez, who flew in from Korea this morning to visit you today. There we go. As many of you know, Secretary DeVos has set out many different priorities as we think about all of our schools in this nation. One of her main priorities has been around school choice. Please know that this conversation today is about choice in many different ways. Because when we think about choice and we think about ways to empower parents and educators in order to give all students an educational environment that is safe and respectful of all viewpoints and all backgrounds, that actually pertains to you. When I think of J.P. Torres, it is actually a school of choice. Because what all of you needed was something different. It was something different. At the same time, just as Mr. Fullo mentioned, you can't compromise the rigor that you would need in order to be able to be competitive. So that rigor needs to be there in order to prepare you in a thoughtful way so that you can be contributing citizens. Looking at J.P. Torres' vision for your school, the vision for J.P. Torres Success Academy says that students will learn, excel, and own their future. That means all of you 2019 graduates, I hope you're owning your future. When you think about the mission of J.P. Torres Success Academy, it says that our educational community, that means not just the students, that means every single one of you out there. Every single one of you, a parent, a teacher, young people right here in 2019 graduates, you see all those little ones running up and down those stairs? You are a model to them, and you are influencing your community. It says that our educational community provides students with social, emotional, and academic support. Sometimes when people read mission statements, they fall flat because they don't really mean anything unless you're living it. Graduates of 2019, I ask you, you don't have to answer out loud, think about all the times someone loaned you emotional support. How many times someone had to lend you some social support? How many times, as you were challenged with the academics, that many times you may not have felt prepared for, you needed additional support. So I share that with you because I'm very humbled and honored to be here with you today. Because the reason that I am here today is because of all of you and a promise kept. A promise kept. It's a promise kept because I should not be here with you today. Mr. Sanchez read that long bio, I asked him not to, by the way, but of all these things that have occurred in my life. But what he left out is very important. I stand here today as Dr. Lisa Ramirez, but I also stand here today as a recovered high school dropout. song because I understand I'm between you and your diploma. But there's something that you should know, graduates. And there's something that you should know, parents and teachers and family, and even those of you that judged these kids. Because it's all of us together helping. And the way we help is up to us. I'm the oldest of 5 and sometimes 10, depending who my mother lived with at that time. And I say that to you with no kind of shame, because too many times we ask our kids to carry a lot of shame that was never theirs to begin with. And as I walk through my life, living in a world that isn't always welcoming to someone whose first language is not English, in a world that is very judging of people who have families with many children that may or may not have many different fathers, of families who live in poverty, of families who may be homeless from time to time, because I was one of those children. School was not a welcoming place for me. School was not a place where I wanted to be. Because as much as we say that all schools welcome all children, it simply isn't true. It isn't true. Many times people think that if you want to be fair, that you have to give all kids the same thing. That isn't true, and that's not how I see it. Being fair is giving students what they need. And what you need may look different. My mother, for the most part of my life, raised all of her children as a single parent. She was not educated. She did not receive a high school diploma. Living in poverty, in and out, with different relationships, exposed all of her children, 4 girls, 1 boy, to a tremendous amount of abuse. I share that with you because this story is true for some of you. And when you are worried about where your next meal is, when you're worried if there's going to be another violent episode in your home, when you're worried whether or not you even have a home, when you're worried whether or not you're going to make it through the night without someone violating your personal space, it's really hard to think about academics. So I'm saying that to you because all of you have beat those odds today. Today, you said to that statistic, yeah, right. You made it happen. And with that attitude, I say, bring it. Bring it. Because as all of you were walking in today, I saw that woman right over there in that dress, right there, cheering you on, so happy, so excited that you were walking in this room, and in a few minutes, you are a graduate. You are a graduate. One of the things that we forget about the parents of all of these graduates, I heard so many times people would say in a very judgmental voice, "Where's her mother? Doesn't she care about her kids? Why doesn't she do this? Why doesn't she do that?" I'll tell you where my mother was. She was fighting the fight. Fighting the fight. Still trying. It doesn't always look like we want it to look. But I'm saying to all of you, think about your parents. Think about those in your family. Think about your teachers and your community members that have assisted you. And graduates, take a minute to express gratitude. Express gratitude. Because no one in this room, no one has been successful without the help of someone. Teachers at JB Torres and Mr. Fulo, I don't know where you went. You went somewhere. Out the door? You left? Oh, there you are. Okay, great. I want to say thank you to you. Because you know what? Working with these students right here is hard. It's hard. It's tough. And some of you may have taken extra pride in making it a little bit harder and a little bit tougher. Right? Yeah, right? I thank you, teachers. I thank you for remaining committed to what your life's purpose is. Every single one of us in here has a purpose. We have a purpose. And it's amazing the day that we get to find out what it is. Graduates, know that everything bad that's happened in your life, and sometimes it was a result of your choices, but so is everything good. Be thinking about the power of your choices. Be thinking about your contributions in your community. Because you are now going to be one of those annoying people that are going to be telling people to go to school. Because you are an adult. You are now one of us. And we are excited. And thinking about how everyone here has treated us here in Guam and the relationship that they have built with each other as family. And thinking of this beautiful dance that I just saw, and luckily somebody translated for me. There's such beauty on where you come from. And thinking of your ancestors, and thinking how you will honor them, how you will honor today, how you will be honorable in the future. Because you too will become an ancestor. I also ask you, graduates, speak hope. Speak hope. Speak hope for yourself. Speak hope for others. Keep your head high. When you come and you get that diploma, I want to see those heads up, shoulders back. I want smiles because you earned it. No one gave it to you. I said to you just a few moments ago that the reason I'm here was because of a promise kept. Mr. Sanchez asked me about this yesterday. He asked me about a promise kept. September of 2017, I visited JP Torres Success Academy. And I met some of you then. There's a musician, a couple of musicians out there that also played a song for us that day. I don't know where you are. They graduated, yes, that's a good problem to have. In September of 2017, I asked to see one of the most challenging students on the campus. One of the teachers said, not today. I said, well, why not today? She said, it's not a good day. You know what? People like us, we have a lot of those not a good days. I said, yeah, but I still would like to see him. So I went into a classroom and I met a young man who was wearing a red hoodie, and he was hidden in his own world. And in that world that is sometimes extremely dark and extremely lonely and extremely hopeless sometimes, there is a light. There is a light. And that light is in each of you as well. And across the ocean, there's someone that was still praying every day. And there was a light. I'm called to remember a quote by Jonathan Kozol in his book, Amazing Grace. Dr. Kozol writes in his book, "You have to remember that for this little boy whom you have met, his life is just as important to him as your life is to you. No matter how insufficient or how shabby it may seem to some, that life is the only one he has." Your life, all of you, graduates of 2019, is beautiful, and it is worthy, and you are important, and we need you. And today, I am so happy to be here as part of a promise kept. But as I told Mr. Sanchez, the promise kept was not mine. Because everyone thinks a promise was kept because I came because he's graduating. No, there was a promise kept because he said he'd graduate. Congratulations, Andrew. I'm so proud. And to the class of 2019, keep that light shining, and across the ocean, there's someone still praying for you. And every day, everywhere, someone's got you covered. Pay it forward. Once again, congratulations, live well.